Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guest today returning is Mr. Jeffrey Brown, the author of so many disparate things. I still have trouble wrapping my head around the fact that the guy who wrote Clumsy also writes Kids Are Still Weird. I mean, it makes sense when you realize that, oh, time passes.
Yeah,
But but we're not as used to that with our artists. It's
yeah,
like, oh no, you're the guy that writes about awkward teenage or 20 something romance. And it's like,
yeah.
oh, awkward 20 somethings have kids too.
Well, I went the wrong direction. I was younger as writing about adult stuff, and now I'm much older and I'm writing about kid stuff. So
I think there's an
I'm
element to that.
inversing. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go full on Pearl Jam, the next one's got to be about taking care of your parents. You know.
Yeah, that's coming.
They're my favorite band, and one of the reasons they're my favorite band is I feel like whatever their recent album is the one that speaks to me now. They were in their angsty, angry at the world stage when I was a teenager, angsty and angry at the world. They started becoming more self-reflective about their anger at the same time I did. They started having kids at the same time I did, and it
Yeah.
all showed up in their music. So, I mean, there's precedent for this sort of work. It's just not like we're more used to Aerosmith. We're gonna try to be exactly like we were when we were 19, because that's what gets the chicks or something. I don't know. Um, so the newest books, late last year you put out Kids Are Still Weird, which I just reread and I love this book.
Thank you.
And right around the corner is Hulk Teach, which as a teacher, like as soon as I saw that solicited, I went, oh my God, I love this idea. So, and now that I've read more about it and some of the book itself, I love the idea even more because of some of the decisions you made on like how to set it up. So give us the Hulk Teach pitch.
Yeah, I
And
mean the simple premise is, Hulk as a superhero saves the world, but he's always like breaking things while he does it. He's always destroying stuff. And so um they Shield gives him, the option like, look, you're gonna have to do some community service. And um and he's like, okay, fine. What do you need? You need to lift heavy stuff. And um but what they're actually having him do is Bruce Banner has to teach middle school. And so of course that is just priming him to be frustrated and Hulk out constantly. So um, yeah, it was a a thing where Scholastic had asked me about doing a Marvel book, and I was like, it's like I don't know what characters I want to do. I was thinking about it. It's like who haven't I like done something with? Hulk is someone, but what would I do with Hulk? And then I was actually um I do like a comics residency at a middle school, and there was just something being there and watching the teachers, and they're like so patient, and it's just like they're like sometimes they'll just be in this Zen state while the kids are just like trying to like get their goat, and you see the teacher there is just like, mm-hmm, okay, sit down, and I was just
I'm married
yeah.
to a middle school art teacher, so like I know these stories well.
Yeah, and so it just seemed like all of a sudden it just clicked. I was like, oh, it'd be really funny if like if one of the teachers was Bruce Banner, because how is he gonna like
Yeah,
keep
that
it
is
under control?
literally my first question was how did you decide middle school? Because of all the things for Bruce Banner to teach and try not to Hulk out, I can't imagine anything more trying than middle school.
Yeah, it's a particularly challenging age because you have, kids are entering this time transition time to independence, but like they're not always ready for it. And just they're at an age
Their
where
brains are nowhere near
yeah,
fully formed. They're
yeah.
very concrete.
And there's
They're
also this nice parallel where, like the impulse control just isn't there, just bio
yes,
biologically.
right,
But that's also something that, like that's an aspect of the Hulk
right.
is like that. And so it just felt like, it's like almost like I'm having a giant older version of
Yeah,
a middle school kid
or
teaching
teach
other
middle
middle
school.
school kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, it's yeah, no, when I told my wife about it, she's like, I hope he teaches middle school. So like when I found out he did, um,
Yeah, I will say, I don't my experience is much more limited, and like infinite kudos to all the actual full-time middle school teachers out there,
yeah, no,
because
it
you
takes a special um I mean, my wife actually left middle school to go to a year of elementary school because she thought she was fed up with middle school. And she realized, no, it's more my school than the middle school. And middle school still drives her up the wall, but she also realizes she's finally wrapped her head around the fact that she's good at it. And like not many
Mhm.
people are. And it drives her up the wall because she's good at it. If that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm frustrated, but I'm not actually frustrated because they're acting inappropriate. I'm frustrated because they're acting completely appropriate, and I know what my appropriate response is, and I want them to be little adults so that I only have to do it once, but I understand that no, I have to do it every day for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then they're the high school teacher's problem. And that's just the way it is, and like my patience makes me good at it, but why do I have to be the one with patience is I think what she's come
Yeah.
to at this point. Why do I have to be the patient one? Why can't I be impatient and therefore a college professor?
Right. Right. But like
um
if I mean that if I had Hulk teaching grad school, I think it would be a much less interesting book. It would just be
Probably, though, I think there
lots
is
of
an
physics
interesting book
problems, and
there,
yeah.
not for Scholastic.
Yeah.
That's more like a Marvel graphic novel.
Yeah. They need to get James Stern back in to, do
Right.
his take. And
Right. Oh, wow. So what was the most fun about writing Hulk?
I mean, the funnest part for me, I think, was just kind of coming up with my own version of the Hulk. Because
Okay.
you've over the years, there's been lots of different versions of the Hulk. You have like Hulk is like super dumb. You
Right.
have like a Hulk where he's super brainy, but he's not actually Banner. You have like actual Banner just in Hulk's body. Um, you have all these different versions. And so I had this idea of a very specific version of Hulk that's he's he sometimes he is kind of dumb, but it's like book dumb, but he's like actually emotionally like pretty intelligent sometimes. And then um and sometimes he is more book smart than you might think. But basically I just kind of like tweak him to be whatever I like can get the most entertainment out of him. So he's like this kind of like he's not dumb Hulk. Um, he a lot of times when he's breaking things, it's just because he's like a huge green monster in a
Right.
tiny school,
Right.
and things like that. And and then also there's like this it was fun to have um Hulk and Banner are kind of not not rivals, but like they have a back and forth where Banner is just like at first is just like, oh, I got to teach middle school. This is like a pain. Um, and but Hulk like when he hulks out, then all the kids love Hulk, so Hulk's actually enjoying it. And so you have this kind of um back and forth between like the difference between how Banner is with the kids and how Hulk is,
Hulk
and
is with the
how they
kids.
both kind of learn over the course of the book.
I mean, it kind of sounds like Hulk might handle middle schoolers better than Banner.
He
Banner, I
Hulk
feel like would have less tolerance for skibbity toilet.
Yes, yes. Banner is definitely he's definitely the more impatient, um and and for Hulk, I think it's part of it too is like in the book he's in this new environment where like, hey, I'm a monster, but now instead of everyone being mad at me or like hating me for being a monster that I can't help being, like they're actually loving me, and
Right,
and so
right.
like
My only job
yeah,
is don't break children
yeah,
and don't break the school so much that Tony can't pay for
right.
it.
Yeah, there was
Um,
a version of the book that where the book ended with like Hulk destroying the entire school, and I was like, oh, maybe if I go on for enough books, like that can be that can be a
that can happen. I mean,
spectacular
you'd have
finish,
to
but
have like the postscript where
yeah,
Tony paid for like the 10 times better school
yeah.
and paid off the teachers. The teachers are now already driving Mercedes, rather than just their students like at my school. Um, you've been to my school. You know what I'm
Yes,
talking about.
yes.
But you mentioned that you did a curious about this. You did a cartoonist residency in a middle school. Is this your child's middle school, or is there a middle school that
No,
actually like reached out to you?
it's in the suburbs. It's with
Okay.
a friend of mine who's a school librarian, and
Okay.
so actually one of the other teachers is a reference to him by
Okay.
name, not by character, but and
Right.
so it's something we've done. Um, I think we've done it 4 times now. So, it's
Okay.
five days. Or this last time we actually extended it to 6 so that it was like all the different classes got a full 2 days with me instead of
Okay.
but it's been an interesting experience. It's like not something that I think do um like more like I
So
couldn't be
I
doing
shouldn't
it
be
every.
telling my middle school art teacher that you're available for residencies.
Yeah, it's like a once every other year or so thing. It's like I mean it's exhausting. It's like
I
the
believe
full
it.
days with middle schoolers, and but it's also it's really fun because like they do like some pretty cool work, and it's been
Oh
it's
yeah.
also been a learning experience for us teaching it, where each year we kind of like figure out a little better, like, okay, this way of doing this exercise like works better if we do it this way, and like how much. And teaching comics, like I teach at the School of the Art Institute for college kids, and um it's the same thing where there, as in middle school, as in elementary school, like you comics making comics is different for everyone. And
Yeah.
you have some kids who can sit down and they're done with their like they've not only finished their page long comic, like they've done an additional 2 pages and then like got bored, so they started drawing something else. And then you have someone else who, like at the end of the day, they're still working on panel 2. Um,
Right.
and so that's one of the like the challenges has been kind of like juggling that.
Well,
And then again, middle school kids, so then it's like, well, like we've got to separate these kids out, or like
yeah.
we try to have like it's going to be 4 kids at each table, and like next thing you know, like there's 7 kids at this table because they brought chairs over, and you're like, okay,
Right.
come on, like
Right.
there's a reason the
Well,
chairs were
and
at
I'm
these
just thinking
tables. And
for the for the kid that's on panel two, there's even two sets of reasons for why they're on panel two. There's
That's
the
true.
they couldn't
That's
focus
true.
on it enough because they kept getting up to go to the bathroom, kept getting up for water, had to look at this on their phone, had to go talk to their friend about this, blah blah blah. And then there's the other one that's only on panel two, but they are the two most gorgeous detailed panels you have ever
Yeah.
seen. Because they
Yeah.
had to get each detail of that window and the
Yeah.
cat in the window.
Yeah. And I mean, and sometimes it's, like they actually drew a whole page and then they decided like, nope, that wasn't
They didn't like
working.
it.
Like I need to like
Right.
rewrite the story. It didn't make sense. And like they rewrite it and or like there's all kinds of reasons. And so um it's like, and that's one of the things that I tried to put into the Hulk Teach book is this like one of the things I think that's underappreciated about teachers is um it's not just like I stand up in front of you, I present you this information, and now everyone knows it, and then we take a test, everyone like, and if they fail the test, it's because they didn't pay attention in class. And it's like there's like it's almost like you really have to teach every kid individually, but at the same time.
Yeah,
And
I do know some
it's
teachers who want it to work that first way, and they're the least happy teachers I know.
yes.
They're the ones that I'm sitting there going like, there are other jobs, they pay better.
Right. And but I mean, like that's the thing is it's so rewarding then
It
when you get
is.
to the end
Oh
and like
yeah.
like with this comics residency, it's like they're like the day one, like you're looking at these kids and you're like, oh my gosh, like we're gonna end up with like it's gonna be like a grid of 6 panels and there's just gonna be like some words in each panel with like a smiley face. Like, and then you get to the end and like they've actually like even though like you're thinking like that's what you're going to end up with, they've actually like produced something like, oh, that's really interesting. Um
Right.
and they've actually like worked really hard at it. And
Right.
but yeah, it's a lot of work to get that out of them, right? So
Do you know the Lion's Tooth bookshop in Milwaukee?
I don't.
Oh, you should get to know them. You're not that far away. Um, they're like they carry a very curated set of mostly indie comics, graphic novels, and like good, mostly political book type stuff. But they also teach they have like comics summer school,
Hmm.
where it's pay what you can afford, and like the kids come in during the summer, either morning or after. I forget if they do morning, afternoon sessions or both. But at the end of the summer, they also like print the kids' stories in a zine that you can buy there, and it's really fun going through and seeing the comics that like these. I mean, they've got everything from like 5 and 6 year olds through. I don't know if they take adults, but they definitely take high school kids. you know,
Hmm.
um, because you're right, I mean, as soon as you can tell a story, it's just a matter of like working on the craft, and even when you start really simple, it, it can become cool.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, the other thing that was popping in my head, have you seen Raina Telgemeier and Scott McCloud's new book?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good, and you should definitely give it to your librarian friend because it might encourage him to do a
Yeah.
comics club all year if he's not already.
I
Um,
he does other like he definitely like gets the kids reading comics because he's a big comics fan and that's why he wanted to
right,
do this. And um he's in my neighborhood, so I was introduced to him through the owner of the
right,
comic shop that I go to. And
gotcha.
um so
Yeah, no,
but yeah, I'm looking
the
forward to that book. Um
it's
I
it's
mean
fantastic. The basic premise is like a school librarian like sees a couple of kids are getting into cartoonists or cartooning themselves. The school librarian suggests they start a club, so they do. And like Raina handles we're telling the nice story of friendship and
Uh-huh.
whatnot, and Scott handles the this is also understanding comics for kids aspect.
Yeah.
Often on the same. Yeah. So it's this great story of like kids making their own comics that also
Yeah.
has like all of the pertinent details from understanding comics put forward for like a middle grade audience. It's one of my favorite books of the year. um so I'm sorry, we just went off on other people that aren't Jeffrey Brown.
I mean,
I think it's
I
the
mean,
same publisher.
there's there's worse people we could go off on than
There are.
Raina
We're
and
gonna
Scott.
leave
So
them alone. Try not to go off on them very often. Um, so what does is I mean, it would make most sense if Banner was the science teacher, but what middle school has separated classes. What does Hulk teach?
um yeah, so mostly science. And so
Okay.
it's one of those things where um it it would make sense for him to just teach science, but that like felt limiting. And just when I got into the story, like I was like kind of overwhelming because it's like, well, like science covers a lot of areas. So like what science? It's like, and then also like if he's going to be teaching kids physics, like I mean, that's that's a little different teaching physics to middle school than to like, teaching quantum mechanics to your
Right.
PhD
Right. I mean,
students.
most middle
So,
schools I know focus on biology and chemistry
right.
and kind of general earth science and give you lots of opportunities for exploding things or dissection.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I so I was so the for so I'm actually working on the second book, the follow-up to Hulk
You were
Teach.
telling me about that. I don't know
And
how much you're allowed to talk on air, but I'm
so
excited.
yeah, so that one gets a little more away from the science. And the first book is basically like there's a big standardized test with around science. And
Yeah.
um but
I
it's like
I
it's
hope you
also,
give standardized tests their proper due.
oh, I believe I do.
Good.
um
Not
and
worth the paper they're printed on? Excellent.
yeah, it's like I mean I like that goes back to the same thing where it's like I get the idea that you have a standardized test so that you can have this benchmark to gauge every kid. But like really, like you can't gauge kids like that. Like that's not how
Almost
humans
nothing
work.
important.
Like it's
Yeah.
like it's like the number of people that I've talked to over the years who are like just like meeting someone randomly and talking about like, and like they're like, yeah, when I was a kid I didn't talk at all till I was 7.
Yeah.
And like they're totally articulate, but it's
Hmm.
just for whatever reason, like, or like, so things like struggling with math or reading. I mean, myself, I remember in 6th grade doing horrible on fractions. Like I just was like getting the worst grades that of 6th grade, all on math. But I was always like really good at math. Like my standardized test scores for math were good. And then but I'm like, well, that's interesting because I'm like, an artist and writer, and like I'm thinking creative. And then my reading and writing scores were like much lower. And I'm like, what's going on here? This is like something's not adding up. Um uh so it's, yes, so the standardized test is yeah, it's definitely not a pro standardized test.
Excellent. Because, I
Uh
mean, as it turns out, there's not much that matters that can be put into multiple choice questions very well.
Yeah.
There's not much that matters that has only one correct answer. And more than anything, when you're designing a test to try to differentiate people, you spend a lot of time on the questions that some people get right and some people get wrong, and that doesn't always
Yeah.
mean intelligence versus not intelligence.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, yeah, I always found that like I would get true false questions wrong a lot because like I would like read the question as like I would have like 8 million like qualifications like, well, it's true if this, but it's
Right,
false, but it's true.
right,
And I
right.
think, I think that's another reason why like the idea of Hulk being the teacher um like felt like such an interesting thing because it's like this idea of like, well, what is, like intelligence and like knowing things and like can Banner learn something from Hulk? And Banner thinks he's like smart and Hulk's dumb, but like showing that there's like different things about life that
There's so many different
go
types of
beyond like those
intelligence.
like
Yeah,
just facts and figures.
yeah. I mean, I always tested off the charts on any sort of standardized test, IQ test, blah blah blah, and like couldn't navigate college because I'm autistic and bipolar, and it turns out that that starts to matter when you have to like advocate for yourself.
Right.
But you can't just go, but
Right.
I'm smart.
And then you add in like, like when things
So
are
I got to college and I
stressful
never
and
had, right.
yeah.
I never had those skills. I never had, um, and it was 20 years later before I even managed to figure out, oh, wait a minute. It's these specific things that I didn't need in elementary school that I did need in college that I'm still not particularly good at because they play into exactly how I'm neurodiverse that are also why college was a nightmare for
Mhm.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel better. I'm now that much more certain that I don't know if I'm going back. I found an opportunity to teach without that college degree because paraprofessionals do incredibly important work in special education.
Hmm.
Turns out there's real value to being able to do like any subject but foreign language at the same table at the same time. Um, and my wife says we can afford it, and that's the important part. If we can afford it for me to make some less money and do this job that I love without going to college. Um, So yeah, let's pivot a little bit to kids are still weird, and I wanna draw out the early in the book. There's one comic that just it stuck with me because it goes right with a family lore for me. You're telling Simon that if he doesn't eat his dinner, the lizard is going to eat it, and he just turns and says, "Thank you." And my grandma Alice used to say that the reason she never did the whole starving children thing is she did it once when my Uncle John was like 5 and he went to his room and got a shoebox and came back to the table and said, "Who should I address it to?" If they're starving, they need this food much more than me.
Yeah.
Um, so talk to me. I mean, this is a series of one-page comics. They're very observational. I mean, when you do these comics, are you sitting down and thinking of where things your kids have done, or do you keep notes, or do they happen on the day that they happened? How does
Yeah.
this?
So for these it's I took notes like
Okay.
and it's that's very specific time of kids growing up where like they're they've learned how to talk, but
Hmm.
now they're starting to put things together into sentences and like
Yep.
more meaningful conversation, but like they haven't quite gotten like where everything makes sense. And so
It's the
it's just like
beginning
a
of when they're amazing.
Yeah.
which ends when they reach a point where they realize that they can say no to you and
Yeah.
decide that you're not smart. If you're lucky, that can be anywhere from like 2 to like 12. And if you're unlucky, it starts around 3 and ends at 5.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like I basically I I mean just in my sketchbooks, and I would make notes when they would when Simon would say something funny. And to for anyone who doesn't know, this is a follow-up to my first book, Kids Are Weird,
Right.
which was my older son Oscar, and it was the same process where I was just like writing down funny things, and I would doodle little
And when
moments in
Oscar
my
was roughly the
sketchbooks.
age that Simon is
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
And and so I'd done that book, and then so when Simon, as he was growing up, I was doing the same thing, and then it got to the point where my wife is like saying, like you're gonna have to like turn those into a book too, because you can't just have a book for
one kid and not
Oscar
the
and
other.
not
Yeah,
and not
yeah. This is
his
going to be a
brother.
problem at some point,
It'll
Jeffrey.
it'll there's He's gonna figure out like, wait a minute, wait a minute, why did my older brother get a whole book?
It's kind of like I recently um, spent a day with, I guess they're technically first cousins once removed, but they're the kids of cousins, right?
Mhm.
Um, and while I was at C2E2, one of them had this is the one that I was literally meeting for the first time, and the other two I'd met when they were like toddlers and younger. Um, but one of them had hijacked the phone from my brother while he was talking to me at C2E2, found out that I liked comics, and um, immediately rattled off all the comics she liked, and one of them was Foxtrot. And I went, "Oh, Bill Amend is here. I'm going to have to go get her a print and have him sign it." And then I never got it in the mail, but now I'm seeing them. I'm like, "Oh shit, I don't have anything for the 5 other young cousins that are going to be there between two different older cousins' kids." So I went out and spent like $100 on various stuff at the comic shop to let them pick on their own. So I wasn't
Yeah.
giving something to one kid and not
Yeah.
the other 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, you really couldn't do that with books. I'm
Yeah.
glad your wife keeps track of that for you.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it like, and on some level too, and also, I mean, I think so. I had collected the ideas over time, and then um, it was just one of those things where I just started penciling them out while like working on other projects in my like in between waiting for editors or
Right.
whatever the case may be, and I just chipped away at it over the years. Um, so as a I mean, I feel like it was probably like a 10-year process to make the book in a way, but um and yeah,
So
and
are
then
your kids in middle and high school now?
my older son's headed off to college in the
Oh,
fall,
wow.
which is terrifying. And then
Yeah, no, I have
Simon's
grandkids,
just
so I get it.
entering middle school. So
Okay. So they've got a bigger gap than I realized
yeah.
from the writing. I think I thought they were closer together,
Yeah, part
but
of that is just the our cartoon selves don't like, if you look in the back of the book, you can see
yeah, no,
Like
I could tell the
Oscar got
difference
a little
more in the back of the
older,
book. Right.
but I still draw myself the like the same way I drew myself when I
Right.
was in my 20s. So
Right.
uh it's a
Because
the
that was the other thing
yeah.
that I noticed a lot, is that like it does the interaction between the brothers so well. Like everyone who's been a sibling has seen
Mhm.
some of those squabbles or eye rolls or whatever. And I think that's also why I thought they were a little bit closer. But I can see now a couple of the ones that didn't make as much sense. I'm like, oh, okay, if he's 6 years older,
Yeah.
that makes way more sense. I was literally thinking of like 3 different sets of siblings that I know as I was reading is I'm like, oh, this is like so and so and so and so. So that was
Yeah.
a really,
Yeah.
really fun.
I mean, aside from just, like okay, I need to make this book for Simon because I did one for Oscar, but like the both those books, Kids Are Weird and Kids Are Still Weird, um, it's about a lot of it's about also just about like finding joy in parenting.
Yeah,
Like when,
which isn't always easy.
like so like, their siblings, they're gonna squabble and fight sometimes, but um I feel like for myself, it was good to make work that just focus on like, you know what? Actually, kids are just funny and entertaining, and
Just
like
kids.
it's nice to put like something positive down instead of just, um, just having more of
I
like
mean,
the
we talked about
negative
it
stuff.
some with the middle school teachers, is that like there is so much the difference between being a teacher and being a parent. And one of the reasons that I'm like really blown away anytime there's somebody who's a great teacher of kids that are the same age as their own kids, because I can't imagine what it must be like to go home to it. Um,
Hmm.
is that like the teacher gets that time to reflect on, okay, this is age appropriate. And it was actually kind of funny, even if I wish it didn't happen in the moment. Whereas the parent, it's just the non-stop, ever going. And like to be able to step back and go, oh, wait, that was hilarious. I still needed to say, don't do that,
Yeah.
but
And I
it
think,
was hilarious.
I think it's goes the other way too sometimes, where it's like sometimes like the kid at school is something where the teacher's like, this is not okay, but as a parent, you're like, I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah. No,
that was a
one of
pretty
my,
brilliant
I think
prank. I'm
I
sorry.
think my favorite scene in Love Actually is when Emma Thompson's character gets called in because her son had said that or had written an essay about his Christmas wish being to see people's farts, and so she gets called into the office to be talked to about it, etc. And like she's like, "Can I just talk to him in the hallway?" And they go outside, and as soon as they're in the hallway, she's like, "I am so disappointed that I have sent you to this school where they don't get good comedy. I mean, this is really great stuff."
Yeah. I mean, it's a classic thing where, like Dave Pilkey tells the story of coming up with Captain Underpants and how
Mhm.
his teacher was like, so against it. Um and then, now
Billions
here he
of
is like,
billions of copies later.
yeah.
Has he
So
tracked down that teacher
I don't
or
know. I mean,
dedicated a book to him yet?
probably. I mean, I don't know.
That's it is, but I mean, it's that balancing act because there are some times where even amongst ourselves, we're going, okay, that was hilarious, but I'm supposed to tell them this.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the advantages of being special ed, where so much of what we're trying to do is help them understand age appropriate, help them understand and do things that they might not otherwise be able to do. We can go, oh, that's a horribly inappropriate joke, but completely age appropriate. Good job.
Yeah.
You're learning. Um, yeah, so we're coming up on our hour. So first, anything that you feel like or kids are still weird that we should. We
Sorry, you
should
cut
probably give
out
a
there for a
date for
second.
Hulk Teach.
Oh,
I'm
Hulk
sorry.
teaches it.
Anything that
Let's
we haven't said about Hulk or um, kids are still weird
Yeah.
should. What was I
I
gonna
mean,
say?
I guess the other news about Kids Are Still Weird is that it's up for an Eisner Award for Best Humor
Oh, that's
Publication.
right.
So, which
Fantastic.
is very exciting.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Um, when I told Simon, he was like, and it's all thanks to me. He's very, he's very, he's like, he knew the source of the comedy there. Um, and yeah, and Hulk Teach will be out August 5th. Um,
I thought the
and
see is it being released earlier in bookstores?
don't
Because
think
I have Lunar with a final order cutoff of August 4th and an in-store date of September 3rd.
Oh yeah, it might be earlier for the traditional
The book,
bookstores
right.
and Scholastic book fairs and all that stuff. So um yeah, sometimes comic shops get the
Get stuff earlier and
get the
sometimes they get
stuff
stuff later.
earlier
And
and some later. Yeah.
lately it feels like a lot more has
It's
been like a day off rather
yeah.
than
Well,
two.
there has been some chaos in the the comic
Yes,
shop
there's been
distribution
massive chaos in
system.
distribution,
So
and Scholastic
yeah.
has only jumped to Lunar recently. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's a August 5th release date at like probably Target, your
Like
book
so
fairs,
your book fairs,
Barnes and Noble,
your
indie
indie
bookstores, that sort of
bookstores.
thing.
It's
Um, and and if you order it through your local comic shop, you will get it no later than September 3rd.
yeah.
Because I have also noticed with stuff like this that they put that final order cutoff and in-store date out there, but sometimes manage to get them in sooner.
Yeah.
So right around the
Yeah,
corner,
if you're a kid and your school has a Scholastic book fair,
book fair, it'll be there.
I'm assuming since it's a
I hope
Scholastic
so.
book that they're going to put it in their fair. So,
One would definitely hope that it would be at the book fair along with your many other Scholastic books. Um, all of the Star Wars ones were Scholastic, weren't they? Or
the
were they?
Jedi Academy were, although those are
Okay.
actually out of print now.
Oh wow.
So if you've,
How'd that happen? That's sad.
it's just like the Disney rights and like,
Okay.
like, so they make him back. They make him come
That
back at
makes
some
sense.
point in some other form or
Right,
who
right.
knows? Like they
Back
had
into the vault
it's
is what
like
they call it with the
it's
VHS
it's
tapes.
I mean it's kind of funny because it's like it's like in Star Wars like like the Emperor has all these plans kind of brewing
Right.
like in the like and you don't know what they are. So I feel like sometimes like stuff like that is like oh they're like it's
Did
gone out of
you
print,
just call
but why?
Disney the evil empire?
I I didn't call them that. I just made an
Of
observation about
observation.
similarities of some aspects of certain mechanisms of operation. Um,
You love them very
I,
much. They sign the
I,
checks.
yeah, um,
They're putting your kid through college. They're fantastic.
yes, I, I, they're great. They do nothing. They can do no, they can do no wrong. Um, except for putting things out of print and sticking them in the
Yeah,
vault where we can get them.
which means that you
You know,
don't get royalties.
yeah, I mean, um, at
So
this point, I think I'm closing in on 50 books out. And
yeah,
so
you do okay.
some are going out of print. And at first, like when the first books I had that were going out of print, I was like, oh no, this is horrible. Like it's going out of print. And I realized like, oh, well, like I'm making more
Uh,
books. It's okay.
are you saying that you're like one of the few comic writers that has a Lamborghini? And by
No,
that I mean like a matchbox size, the one
no,
that your kid was sleeping with in the comic.
yeah, no, all the Matchbox cars are theirs. I have no Matchbox cars of my own. Um, no, I mean it's um comics are like I like in the same way that you can make more money doing something other than teaching. You can make more
Yeah.
money doing something other than comics, even
You could
like
teach.
even as yeah, even as successful as I've been. But yeah, and actually like
Successful comic creators actually own their own homes. Not necessarily big ones, but ones that they were able to pay a mortgage on.
yeah. I'm also fortunate that my wife actually like works a like a big person job.
Makes way more
So
money than you. That's also very common among successful comic
yeah,
creators to have a spouse that out earns them, often by an order of magnitude.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, so but Hulk Teach will be coming out. I'm working on the second one. I've expecting to get my notes from Marvel and Scholastic after Comic-Con here, and
Are you
we'll
allowed
work
to
on
talk about the co-star, or was that just something that you told
uh
me at
yeah, I probably
Cake
should.
that okay.
Let's I
I'm excited.
without being specific, there's another um another hero gets called in to teach alongside of with the Hulk
Yeah.
because the Hulk's first semester was so successful, and the school wasn't destroyed. They decide that
Is this one a PE teacher? That seems like it would be the
um
appropriate.
well he's gotta sit in with Hulk's gotta show him that, well, Banner
Show
has
him
to
the rope.
show him the
Okay.
ropes, get him,
Okay.
acclimated. Um yeah, it's but it's a lot of fun. Like they, like kind of adding this like third dynamic. So with another character, so you have Hulk and Banner, and then each of them has their own kind of relationship with this other hero. And yeah, it's pretty fun. And they, instead of science, a lot of what they're learning in this book is like art and literature and history.
Okay.
And um
Okay.
yeah,
I can see ways
I,
that could go.
yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to make it before I ask the final question, I want to make it clear to the listeners and to you that like I wasn't trying to diss comic writers for not making money. It's my way of reminding my listeners to buy as much as they can from comic writers, to pay them on Patreon, to join their newsletters, to find ways to funnel whatever money they have to the creators that they love because it's not lucrative. Even when you feel like it should be, when you feel like I see
Mhm.
Jeffrey Brown everywhere,
Yeah.
he's probably got like tailor-made suits. Nope, he's wearing a John Porcelino t-shirt that he might have traded a comic book for.
I yeah, but it's
And it's a great t-shirt.
well loved shirt. My
Right. It's a
King Cat
great King
Comics.
Cat t-shirt. But like, yeah, no, you don't make
Yeah,
comics for any reason other than loving comics. So those
yeah,
of us who consume comics need to keep that in mind. That we want more
yeah,
comics. Getting
and
money to comics creators is
I
important.
should also say like that I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about not
No,
getting rich, because
and
I
yeah,
feel very fortunate that like my day job is like getting to write and draw things.
yeah,
and
yeah.
even if I like sometimes I'm doing licensed work where like there's certain conditions and I have to follow
Right,
like certain parameters, but like I've also had so many opportunities to do my own things, like
right.
and it's a lot of fun.
And
So
continue to.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah. And I didn't. I just. I suddenly felt like we'd maybe been a little bit drier during that portion than I often am. So on the off chance that this is the first time somebody's listening, that wasn't supposed to be a dish. It was supposed to be a reminder that in capitalism, the capital doesn't go to the people who make art without going through many other hands first. So if you find opportunities to send it directly to, like when Jeffrey tables at C2E2 or Cake, go and buy a sketch from him or whatever, because that's money that he gets. Kind of like you should go see your favorite bands live and buy their t-shirt because that's where they make their real money.
Yeah.
So, all right, my favorite closing question, which means you've had to answer it before, but I don't remember what you answered last time. So you are in the rare category that if you answer the same thing, I won't remember. Um,
I might not remember.
well, and that's cool because then we'll get something different, maybe, unless there's something that is so clear. Tell me something you love, preferably a comic, but we don't really have rules. Preferably
Um,
storytelling, but we don't really have rules. But something that you love that not enough other people have experienced and you want them to so that you can talk to more people about it.
um, I what did I answer? I don't
I
remember.
don't even remember.
I think I'll mentioned because I just read an interview in the Comics Journal with this cartoonist Kate Beaton,
Oh, I love Kate
and
Beaton.
um and most of it's mostly about her new memoir Ducks, which is
Ducks.
like actually like deals with some very serious issues, and it's autobiographical, and it gets a little heavy, but um people may also know her from her webcomic Hark a Vagrant, which um is she is so funny. Like her comics are so funny. And then the interview also touches a little bit on her. She did uh two picture books. Pr the
Recently.
Princess and wait, I forget what the title is. Princess Pony. It's about
Sounds right.
um
Kate was at Cartoon Crossroads last year,
yeah,
and I saw her speak, and she brought them up, but they hadn't
yeah.
been.
Which but anyway, that book's been turned into a show on iTunes
There's
and
Shark
Apple.
Girl and The Princess and the Pony
Princess and the Pony and King Baby is the
and
other
King
one.
Baby. Yeah. Shark
And
Girl's the new one.
I haven't seen
Princess and the
Shark Girl,
Pony,
so
yeah, that came out this year.
my gosh,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me? Anyway,
You work for a living rather than
like
rather
I
than
mean
reading comics all the
I
time
mean
like I do.
I do feel like we live in a blessed time for comics because
Oh
when
yeah.
I was a kid growing up, um, it's like I had X-Men and Marvel comics and read some Batman, but like and then there was like newspaper comics and that was it for kids. And
Mhm.
like now we've got like people like
Scholastic and
Kate Beaton
webtoons
and
and
Raina
yeah.
Telgemeier and
Oh
Scott
yeah.
McCloud doing stuff
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um and like it's an embarrassment of riches. And
Every time I hear somebody say comics are dying, I sit there going, "Really? Have you gone to a Target lately?" They've got
yeah,
like a whole wall of them.
yeah,
We didn't have. Well, those aren't comics; those are graphic novels.
I mean, yeah, you're just getting into semantics at some point where
Right.
it's just like what like comics, graphic novels, like I just say comics to encompass
I
like
do too. That's
everything,
definitely what we
whether it's
say
Calvin
on
and Hobbes or
yep.
X-Men or
Yeah.
or whatever. So
That's definitely what we say here on we
excuse me.
we use the Scott McCloud definition, except that we're open to one panel comics as well. So it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be juxtaposed. Um, yeah, so those are a couple of great recommendations. I love anybody who recommends Kate Beaton. Um, and it has, as always, been fun. Let me wrap us up and then we'll chat for a minute and I'll let you go. So, for Jeffrey Brown, this has been 22 Panels. The book in stores August 4th, 5th,
Fifth.
5th, August 5th is Hulk Teach, which just looks so exciting. And Jeffrey has 50 some odd books out there already, including awkward 20 something books and Star Wars for kids books and everything in between. Um, so check out his work wherever finer books and comics are sold. And thank you so much for joining us. We
Yeah.
will see you after the next page.